Lena entered the large office building quietly. Her black shoes made almost no sound on the shiny floor. She wore a plain blue uniform, and in her hands she carried a cleaning cart. Her hair was tied back neatly. No makeup, no jewelry, nothing that made her stand out. Most people didn't notice her. Those who did only saw a cleaner. She moved from desk to desk, gently wiping tables, picking up trash, and organizing things people had left behind. She never spoke much. She never stayed in one place for too long. She worked fast, silently, and carefully. But what no one knew was that Lena was watching. She wasn't just cleaning. She was observing, listening, taking mental notes. The office was busy. People in suits walked quickly. Phones rang. Keyboards clicked loudly. Some workers were friendly. Some were rude. Some ignored her completely. One man, Mr. Darrell, a high-level manager, always looked at Lena like she didn't belong. "Move out of the way," he shouted one morning, bumping into her cart. Coffee spilled on the floor. He didn't say sorry. Instead, he looked at her like she was the problem. "You cleaners are always in the way," he said. Lena looked down and whispered, "I'm sorry, sir." He rolled his eyes and walked away. She quietly cleaned up the mess. Another woman, Miss Carla, laughed behind her back. "Why does she even look so serious? She acts like she owns the place." Lena heard it, but she didn't react. Some workers were kinder. A young intern named Ravi once helped her lift a trash bag. He didn't speak much either, but gave her a kind smile. She noticed that. She noticed everything. Each rude comment, each kind gesture, each fake smile. Lena cleaned desks. She noticed who left food wrappers on their tables, who gossiped loudly, who made fun of the shy workers, and who helped others quietly. In the lunchroom, people talked freely, never thinking Lena was listening. "I heard the CEO is bringing in someone new soon. Hope it's someone smart. We have enough useless people here already," someone said, looking at Lena. She stayed silent. No one knew Lena's secret. At night, after her shift, Lena didn't go home to a small apartment like people assumed. She was picked up by a black car and driven to a private house in the hills. A house with high walls and guards. That house belonged to Mr. Raymond, the CEO of the company. And Lena, she was his daughter. Mr. Raymond had asked her to join the company, but not as a manager. He had a different idea. "I want you to see what happens behind my back," he said. "Not just what people show me in meetings. I want to know how they treat people they think are below them." Lena had agreed. She wanted to understand the company. But more than that, she wanted to see the truth. Her father had built a name for kindness and fairness, but something didn't feel right inside the company anymore. So for the past 2 weeks, Lena had worked as a cleaner, quiet, invisible, forgotten. And now she had seen enough. That night, she sat at her desk at home, writing names in a small notebook. Mr. Darrell, rude, disrespectful, abuses power. Miss Carla, gossips, laughs at others. Ravi, kind, quiet, helpful, deserves support. She wrote more. Every name had a note. Not one word was a lie. Just simple truths. Lena looked at her list. She closed her eyes and remembered how it felt when people spoke down to her. As if her life didn't matter. As if she was just a broom and a mop. She opened her eyes, stronger now. "They think I'm just the cleaner," she whispered. "They have no idea who I am." Outside her window, the city lights blinked. The world moved fast. But Lena was ready to move faster. In just a few days, everything would change. And those who looked down on her, they would have no idea what was coming. After the meeting, the entire office felt like a different world. Some desks were suddenly empty, quiet where they used to be loud. Names were gone from the email list. Coffee mugs sat untouched. No one laughed carelessly now. The ones who stayed behind were the people who treated others with respect, whether they were cleaners or directors. Lena walked through the office, still in her blue uniform. But this time, no one ignored her. Some people nodded. Some smiled nervously. A few whispered, "I'm sorry," as she passed. She didn't stop to respond. Not because she was angry, but because her mind was focused. She wasn't just the CEO's daughter now. She had a role to play. That afternoon, her father called her into the top office, the one with the glass walls and the city view. Mr. Raymond sat across the desk from her, holding 2 files. "You did something powerful," he said, "but your journey is just starting." Lena nodded. "I don't want a title I didn't earn. I want to work my way up. Fairly." Her father smiled. "Then start by helping build something better." He handed her a new file. "This is your first project. A mentorship program for new employees and interns. You'll lead it." Lena's eyes lit up. "Really?" "Yes," Mr. Raymond said. "The people you wrote about, the kind ones, they'll help you. You know who to trust now." Lena opened the file and began reading. In the next few days, Lena stayed busy. She was no longer in a cleaner's uniform. She wore simple office clothes now. Not expensive, not flashy, just enough to blend in. She didn't want attention. She wanted results. She met with Ravi, the intern who had once offered her water. "I can't believe this," Ravi said, smiling. "I thought you were just the cleaner." "I was," Lena said with a small laugh. "And I'll never forget how you treated me. That's why I want you on my team." "Me?" Ravi asked, surprised. "Yes, I need people with real heart, not just big titles." Ravi nodded, touched. They started working together, planning mentorships, designing kindness workshops, organizing feedback meetings for employees at every level. The news about Lena spread quickly across the business world. Some praised her for testing her employees. Others called it risky. But deep down, Lena didn't care about noise. She only cared about creating a workplace where no one felt small. One afternoon, she sat in the break room, now cleaner, brighter, and more open. A new janitor came in, a young man with tired eyes and worn-out shoes. He picked up the mop and quietly started cleaning. Several employees glanced at him. Some looked away, others smiled awkwardly. Lena stood up, walked to him, and handed him a cold bottle of water. He looked at her, confused. "Thank you," he said softly. "You're welcome," Lena replied with a kind smile. She remembered the exact feeling of being where he was, and she made a silent promise to protect those who couldn't speak up. But not everyone was happy. Some of the remaining managers whispered behind closed doors. "She's just the boss's daughter," one said. "She didn't earn this," another replied. "She'll make us look weak with all this kindness stuff." One bold manager, Mr. Clark, decided to test her. During a staff meeting, he interrupted Lena mid-sentence. "Excuse me, but we've never done things this way. Mentoring, weekly feedback. We're not a therapy center." The room went silent. All eyes turned to Lena. She looked at Mr. Clark calmly. "I understand this is new," she said, "but I'm not here to do what's easy. I'm here to fix what's broken." Clark crossed his arms. "And what makes you think you're ready for that?" Lena held his gaze. "Because I've seen this company from the bottom up. I've been ignored, disrespected. But I've also seen kindness. I believe in our people, but only if we lead them with heart." Some employees clapped quietly. Clark sat back, speechless. Lena had earned their respect, not because of her last name, but because of her courage. That evening, as she left the office, her father waited near the elevator. "You did well," he said. "I was scared," Lena admitted, "but I didn't want to stay silent." Her father smiled proudly. "Then you're already stronger than most leaders I've met." As the elevator doors opened, Lena turned back and looked at the office one last time. She remembered the first day, pushing her cleaning cart, invisible to everyone. And now she was a leader, not in name, but in action. The next morning, the office was louder than usual. Everyone was talking about the email from the CEO. Some looked nervous, others were excited. Nobody knew what the big announcement was. Lena came in just like every other day, quietly, wearing her blue uniform, pushing her cart. But this time, people looked at her a little differently. They remembered how Mr. Darrell yelled at her yesterday. They remembered how others laughed. Some people even felt a little guilty. Others didn't care. "She's just a cleaner," someone whispered. "No need to feel bad." Lena walked past them silently, pretending not to hear. But her heart was calm. She knew what was coming. At exactly 10 a.m., a message popped up on everyone's computer screen. All staff to the conference hall. Now, people stood up, whispering and wondering. Is the company closing? Did someone get caught stealing? Is a new director coming? Lena quietly pushed her cart toward the conference hall. A few employees looked confused when she entered too. "Why is she going in?" one woman asked. "She probably just wants to clean," another replied with a shrug. But no one stopped her. Inside the large room, the lights were bright. Every seat was filled. People stood in the back, waiting. Suddenly, the double doors opened, and Mr. Raymond, the CEO, walked in. He was tall, well-dressed, and serious. Everyone stood straighter. "Good morning," he said, standing at the front. His voice was calm, but strong. "I've been watching this company closely," he said, "and I've come to learn something important, something many of you have forgotten." The room grew quiet. Mr. Raymond continued, "This company is not just about numbers or money. It is about people. How we treat each other matters. How we treat those with less power than us. That is who we really are." People shifted uncomfortably in their seats. "I recently brought someone into the office," he said, "someone close to me. But none of you knew her. She wasn't here as a manager or as a guest. She was here in a blue uniform." Now the room buzzed with confusion. Many of you saw her every day. Some of you were kind. Some were cruel. Many ignored her completely. Lena was still standing quietly near the wall. Then Mr. Raymond pointed to her. "Please welcome Lena, my daughter." Gasps filled the room. People turned quickly to look at the girl in the cleaning uniform. Lena stepped forward slowly. Her face was calm, but her eyes were sharp. Miss Carla dropped her phone. Mr. Darrell's mouth fell open. "No way," someone whispered. "She's the CEO's daughter," another said, shocked. Lena stood beside her father now. "I've been here for weeks," she said softly. "I cleaned your desks, picked up your trash, watched how you spoke when you thought no one important was listening." Her voice wasn't angry. It was calm, but powerful. "I saw kindness from a few, but I also saw disrespect, bullying, and arrogance." She looked at Mr. Darrell. He looked away. "You judged me by my clothes," she continued. "You thought I was nothing. But now, everything has changed." The room was silent. Even the air felt heavy. Mr. Raymond took the stage again. "Starting today, this company will change," he said, "because we now know who truly respects others and who only pretends." He pulled a paper from his pocket. "This list," he said, "was written by Lena. It includes employees who showed true character, kindness, humility, and respect." He handed it to his assistant. "They will be rewarded. Some will receive promotions, others new opportunities." The assistant began reading names aloud. Ravi Sharma, Sophia Lynn, Carlos Mendez. Lena smiled softly when Ravi's name was called. He stood up, stunned. "But there is another list," Mr. Raymond said, his tone firm now. "Those who failed to show basic respect to others, those who abused power, they will be asked to leave. Today." Whispers turned into shock. "No, this can't be real." The assistant read another list. Darrell Ford, Carla Green, Mandy Rivers, Faces turned pale. Some tried to protest. "Please, sir, it was a mistake. She tricked us. We didn't know who she was." Mr. Raymond looked at them coldly. "And that's the point," he said. "You should treat everyone with respect, whether they're the CEO's daughter or the cleaner." Lena's eyes scanned the room. "This company isn't broken," she said, "but it needs heart, and I'm going to help fix that." Some clapped quietly. Others sat frozen. The meeting ended. The guilty were escorted out. And Lena? She stood taller than ever before. She had been judged, laughed at, humiliated. But now, she had revealed the truth. And this was only the beginning. Lena stood still, strong, calm. When the doors closed, Mr. Raymond turned back to the rest of the staff. "Now," he said, "let's rebuild this place with honesty, kindness, and real leadership." He looked at Lena. "You may not want a title, but you've already proven you're a leader." Lena smiled softly. She turned back to the team. "I don't want you to be afraid," she said. "I want you to be proud, to be part of something real. Because respect is more powerful than rank." The room erupted in applause. Tears filled some eyes. Ravi smiled wide. The janitor clapped the loudest. And for the first time, Lena didn't feel like the cleaner, or just the CEO's daughter. She felt like someone who made a difference. The next morning was quiet, but tense. Everyone in the office had received a message. Mandatory staff meeting. Media room, 11 o'clock a.m. No details. No reason. Just a time and place. Whispers filled the hallways. Is someone getting fired? Is this about the mentorship stuff? Maybe Mr. Raymond is retiring. Even the ones who had been plotting, like Mr. Clark and his small group, looked uneasy. They didn't know what was coming. That made them nervous. At exactly 10:55 a.m., Lena walked into the media room. She wasn't wearing her old cleaner uniform anymore, but her style was still simple. A neat white blouse, soft gray pants, no jewelry, no makeup, just confidence. The large room filled slowly. People sat in chairs, some with coffee, some whispering. Mr. Clark walked in with a smug smile. But when he saw Lena standing near the projector screen, his smile faded just a little. Mr. Raymond entered last. He didn't go to the front. He stood at the back, silent, watching. At 11 o'clock a.m., Lena stepped forward. "Good morning," she said, her voice calm. "I want to thank everyone for coming." Some people nodded. Others sat stiffly. "I know many of you were surprised when you found out who I am," she continued. "But today isn't about that. Today is about something bigger than my name or my title." She paused, then clicked a button on the remote. The screen behind her lit up. It showed a photo, the janitor's closet, a picture of her first day, her old name badge, clinging gloves, a bucket. "I started here with a mop and silence," she said. "No one knew who I was, and almost no one cared. That was the point." The screen changed again, this time to short video clips. A hidden camera video showed Lena trying to greet employees and being ignored. Another showed Mr. Clark laughing behind her back. There were short audio recordings too. Not illegal, just sound from public areas like the lunchroom. "Just a cleaner. Don't waste time helping her. She's nothing important." The room grew quieter with every word. Some people looked shocked. Some covered their faces. Others stared at the floor. Lena continued speaking, her voice steady. "I was testing our company, not to trick people, but to see how we truly treat others, without titles, without power." The screen changed again, this time to kind moments. Ravi offering her water, the security guard checking on her, an intern picking up dropped papers. "These people didn't know who I was, but they were kind anyway," she said. "That's the heart of a good company." Mr. Clark stood up suddenly. "This is ridiculous," he shouted. You can't show this to everyone. This isn't proof of anything. Lena turned to him, her eyes calm. You're right, she said. This isn't just about words. That's why I'm also sharing documents. She clicked again. The screen showed altered files, side by side. One was her original. The other had changes. Her name removed. Her work stolen. The room gasped. Then came the emails, mean ones, mocking her, leaked by an anonymous staff member who had finally had enough. Lena turned back to the group. I didn't want this to be public, but some of you tried to damage me silently. You wanted me out. You even sent me warnings. She lifted a small plastic bag. Inside it, the shattered mug. My name was on this, she said. And someone broke it and left it in my drawer. Silence. Deep, heavy silence. Mr. Raymond finally stepped forward from the back of the room. For months, I watched, he said. I gave people a chance to change. But what I saw broke my heart. He looked around the room. This company was built to lift people, not crush them. He turned to his assistant. Please hand out the files. The assistant walked around, giving sealed envelopes to certain employees. Inside is your final paycheck, Mr. Raymond said coldly. And a list of reasons. We do not accept cruelty, disrespect, or bullying, no matter who it comes from. Several employees stood up slowly, pale, ashamed. Mr. Clark was one of them. You can't fire me like this, he shouted. You're not being fired because of Lena, Mr. Raymond said. You're being fired because of who you chose to be. Security gently led the removed staff out of the room. Months passed. The office Lena once cleaned had become a space filled with kindness, teamwork, and quiet power. People were smiling more, helping each other, listening. But Lena didn't stop there. She had seen too much. She had felt what it was like to be ignored, laughed at, pushed aside. She knew there were others, outside these office walls, who still felt like that every day. One morning, she walked into her father's office with a file in her hand. I want to start something new, she said. He looked up, curious. What is it? A foundation, she replied, for invisible workers, cleaners, guards, drivers, the ones no one sees, but who keep the world moving. Her father leaned back, nodding slowly. What will you call it? She smiled gently. The First Name Project, she said, because the world always remembers last names, titles, positions. But these people only call them by job titles, never by their first names. Mr. Raymond's eyes softened. I'll support it fully. The foundation launched 2 months later, quiet at first. Then, slowly, it began to grow. They gave scholarships to cleaners' children, ran workshops for service workers who wanted to switch careers, created small clubs inside big companies, safe spaces where janitors and helpers could speak, be heard, and be respected. Lena visited schools, spoke at business events, and sat on quiet benches in parks just to listen to people who never got asked, "How was your day?" One day, a viral video changed everything. It showed Lena walking into a 5-star hotel, not as a guest, but as a cleaner for the day. Again. In the video, she cleaned quietly. Most staff walked past her, but one young girl, wearing the same uniform, offered her tea and called her by her name. Hi, Lena. You're new here. Yes, Lena smiled. And you? I'm Priya, the girl said. Started last week. Lena held out her hand. I'm really happy to meet you, Priya. That one moment, 2 cleaners sharing kindness, touched millions. The video spread fast. The CEO who never forgot her mop. Real leadership in action. One name, one moment, one movement. Lena didn't care about the fame. She didn't want the cameras. But she accepted the attention, for one reason only, to lift others. Back at the company, something beautiful happened. Employees started a new tradition. Every morning, Before meetings, someone would share a first-name story, a short moment of kindness they saw from someone without a big title. It brought laughter, tears, and hope. On Lena's one-year anniversary of the company, a surprise celebration was held in the main lobby. People stood in a large circle. No balloons, no fancy food, just a quiet space filled with gratitude. One by one, workers stepped forward to speak. "I stayed because of Lena," said Ravi. "She gave me courage," said the intern. "She saw me," said the security guard. Then Mr. Raymond walked in with a box. He opened it and took out a small, clean white mop. It was framed inside glass. "She never used it as a weapon," he said. "She used it as a mirror to show us who we are." He handed it to Lena. "This is where you started. But now, you lead not just us, but a movement." Tears filled her eyes. She looked around at the people, her people. They clapped. They smiled. They stood taller because of her. And in that moment, she realized. The girl who was once ignored, the girl whose mug was broken, the girl who had no name, had become a voice for thousands. Things looked calm on the outside. The office was cleaner, brighter, and more respectful. People spoke more kindly to one another. The new mentorship program had started, and even the shy interns felt seen. But deep inside the building, trouble was growing again. Some employees, especially the older ones who were close to power, didn't like the changes. "It's too soft," one man whispered during lunch. "We've lost our edge," another replied. "And she's just the CEO's daughter, playing leader." These people didn't say it out loud during meetings, but in private rooms and hallway corners, they plotted. Their words were like poison, quiet but dangerous. Lena noticed small signs. One day, someone removed her name from an email thread. Another day, a team didn't invite her to an important meeting. Then someone changed her presentation slides right before a big review. Ravi saw it too. "Something's wrong," he said one morning, holding a printed report. "This isn't your original data. Someone's editing your work." Lena frowned. "I thought so too. I just didn't want to believe it." "They're trying to make you look bad," Ravi warned. "This feels planned." But Lena didn't panic. She smiled sadly and said, "This is what happens when people feel power slipping from their hands." Still, she knew she had to be careful. That week, she stayed late at the office every night, checking files, backing up her work, and quietly writing down names of people she suspected. One evening, as she was leaving, a kind security guard named Mr. Harris stopped her. "Miss Lena," he said, in a low voice, "can I talk to you for a minute?" "Of course," she said. Mr. Harris looked around, making sure no one was near. "I overheard something," he whispered. "A few managers were talking in the parking lot. They said you're becoming a problem, and they're going to fix it quietly." Lena's stomach dropped. "Did they say names?" she asked calmly. Mr. Harris nodded. "Mr. Clark, and two others. I couldn't catch all of it. Just be careful." Lena nodded, her heart beating faster. "Thank you, Mr. Harris. You're a good man." That night, Lena couldn't sleep. She stared at the ceiling, thinking. She didn't want to go to her father and complain. She wanted to fight this her own way. But she also knew this was no longer a test. This was a real war of minds. The next day, she changed her plan. Instead of reacting, she started watching. She listened closely in meetings. She asked quiet questions. She left fake papers out on her desk, documents she knew might attract the wrong eyes. And soon, it worked. She caught someone trying to copy her mentorship plan under a different name. She found a report where her notes had been deleted. Even her login password had been reset once, but she had it recovered quickly. Now she had proof. Meanwhile, the office started to notice her strength. People talked about how she stayed calm, how she didn't shout or blame. She just worked harder, smarter. Some who once doubted her began to respect her. Even the quiet janitor she gave water to started leaving small notes near her desk. "You're doing the right thing. Don't give up. Some of us see you." Those notes meant more than 100 emails. But the danger grew closer. One day, she opened her drawer and found a broken coffee mug inside. It had her name on it, and it was shattered. She stared at it for a long time. It wasn't an accident. It was a warning. That night, she finally called her father. "I need to talk," she said quietly. They met in his private study at home. Lena showed him the proof, the files, the altered data, the notes, and finally, the broken mug. Mr. Raymond's face turned dark. "This has gone too far," he said. "I gave them a chance. I trusted they would change. But now, they are breaking the rules and crossing lines." Lena looked at her father with steady eyes. "I don't want revenge," she said. "I just want the truth to come out, and I want them out of the company before they hurt someone else." Mr. Raymond nodded. "Then we do this your way." He handed her a key. "This opens the media room," he said. "Tomorrow, during the staff gathering, tell them everything." Lena held the key tightly. She didn't want to embarrass anyone, but some people only learned when the truth was shown in front of everyone. This time, no one would be able to hide. The sun rose over the city, and the office buzzed with energy again. Lena entered like always, quietly, calmly, pushing her cleaning cart. She wore her same blue uniform. Her name tag simply said, Lena. No one knew her last name. No one cared to ask. But today, something felt different. Mr. Darrell, the senior manager, was in a bad mood. His coffee was cold. His report was late, and he was looking for someone to blame. Lena was quietly dusting the edges of the windows near his office when it happened. He walked in, holding a paper in one hand and his coffee cup in the other. He looked around, saw Lena, and shouted, "You, cleaner, did you touch my desk?" Lena turned slowly. "No, sir. I only cleaned the edge of the table. You moved my files," he snapped. Lena shook her head gently. "I didn't touch the papers, sir." Mr. Darrell's face turned red. "Don't lie to me. You cleaners think you're smart. You're just here to mop floors. Stay in your lane." Several employees nearby looked over. Some whispered. Some laughed quietly. Others looked away. Lena felt her hands tighten around the cloth she was holding, but she kept her face calm. "I didn't move anything, sir," she said softly. "Don't talk back to me," he shouted. "Get out of my office, and next time, wait for instructions like a good girl." Lena walked away slowly. Her heart was beating fast, but her steps were steady. She had been shouted at in front of everyone, made to feel small, laughed at, but she didn't cry. She didn't fight, because she knew something no one else in that office knew. This humiliation would not last forever. Later that day, Lena was cleaning the conference room when she overheard two employees talking. "That girl got yelled at again," one said, chuckling. "Why doesn't she just quit?" The other replied, "She's not even good at cleaning." Lena bit her lip and kept cleaning. As she walked through the hallway, another worker dropped a tissue on the floor right in front of her and said, "There, pick that up." Lena bent down and picked it up. She didn't say a word, but in her mind, she was writing names. At lunch, she sat alone in the corner of the break room, eating quietly. Ravi, the intern, passed by and gave her a small smile. He didn't say anything, but he placed a bottle of water near her and walked away. Lena smiled softly. That one act of kindness meant more than 1,000 fake smiles. After her shift, she walked outside as usual. The security guard at the gate didn't even look at her. But as soon as she stepped outside, a black car pulled up. A man in a suit opened the back door for her. Lena stepped in and sat back. Inside the car, her father, Mr. Raymond. The CEO was waiting. "Rough day?" he asked gently. Lena looked straight ahead. "Yes, but it was important. Today I saw their real faces." Her father nodded. "It hurts, doesn't it?" Lena's voice was steady. "They think I'm just a cleaner. They think I don't matter. But soon, they'll find out who I really am." She handed her father a notebook. Inside were names, dates, and short notes of every person's actions. Her father flipped through the pages slowly. "You've done well," he said. "I'm proud of you." Lena looked out the window as the city lights passed by. "I don't want revenge," she said, "but I want justice. No one should be treated like I was today. Not cleaners, not interns, not anyone." Her father placed a hand on hers. "And that's why you'll make a better leader than most." That night, an email was sent from the CEO's office. "Important announcement tomorrow morning. All staff must be present. Mandatory." Back at the office, the workers read the email and whispered, "Is it about layoffs? Maybe someone's getting promoted." No one knows. But Lena knew. Tomorrow, the office would look different. Tomorrow, faces would change. And tomorrow, the truth would begin to rise. The next morning, the office felt different. The air was lighter. The tension was gone. People walked with purpose, but also with peace. For the first time in weeks, there was laughter in the lunchroom. Lena arrived early, just like always. But now, people greeted her. "Good morning, Lena. You look great today. We're glad you're here." She smiled and nodded back, still her simple self. No pride, no attitude, just quiet strength. Her father, Mr. Raymond, had offered her anything. An office, a high title, even a driver. But Lena had said no to most of it. "I want to earn everything step by step," she said. "Let my work speak louder than my name." Still, something had changed. Her small desk had been moved from the corner to the front office, near the leadership team. A simple gold nameplate sat on it. Lena Raymond, Leadership Support and Culture Advisor. It wasn't a fancy title, but it was perfect. It meant she would help build people, not just profits. Later that day, she got a call. It was from Mr. Harris, the security guard who had warned her during the hard days. "I heard what happened," he said. "Everyone's talking about it." Lena smiled. "Thank you for standing by me." "I just did what was right," he replied. "But I'm proud of you. You stood strong." After lunch, Ravi brought her a small gift, a new coffee mug. It was white, simple, and had one word on it: unbreakable. She held it carefully. Her eyes filled with emotion. "Thank you," she whispered. "After all that's happened," Ravi said, "you've reminded everyone what real leadership looks like. Not power, not shouting, but respect and courage." As days passed, the company began to grow stronger. The mentorship program Lena started became official. More interns were hired, and even junior staff were given a voice in meetings. A new rule was made: no one is above kindness. It was printed and placed at the front of the building. Clients noticed the change too. One longtime client, Mrs. Dawson, called Mr. Raymond directly. "I don't know what changed in your company," she said, "but it's working. Your people are happier. And that girl, Lena, I saw her handle a problem with such grace. You raised a gem." Mr. Raymond smiled. She raised herself. One evening, as the sun began to set, Lena was about to leave the office when her father walked in. "Got a minute?" he asked. "Of course." He handed her a small black folder. "Open it," he said. Inside was a paper with her name. A contract. Executive partner. Future CEO track. Lena stared at it. "I'm not ready," she whispered. "You don't have to decide today," her father said. "This isn't pressure. It's permission. You've already done more than most leaders. And this is just the next step." Lena closed the folder gently. "I'll think about it." That night, she walked past her old cleaning closet. The door was open. She looked inside, at the mop, the gloves, the bucket. For a moment, she remembered the silence, the stairs, the pain. And then she smiled. She reached into her bag and took out a small paper. She taped it inside the closet door. It said, "Started here, learned here, grew here, Lena." Then she walked away. The next day, when she entered the office, something caught her eye. On the main hallway wall, a new plaque had been installed. It read,